Hi, I'm Danish Khan from the Economic Times Telecom, and we have Mr. Ankit Agarwal, Managing Director of Sterlite Technologies, to discuss the company's journey into the fiber optic space and the company's plans for the global market. Hi, Ankit. Thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danish. My pleasure.
Sterlite is a known name in the optical fiber space. So in India, we have seen how the whole space has grown with the focus of the Indian government on the BharatNet and telecom operators focus on the fiber to home service. So would you like to touch upon how the journey has been and how does the future look like for Sterlite in this space?
So absolutely, I think it's a very exciting time for the country.
Right.
I think from our perspective, this is once in a generation network laid out and we'll go with 4G to 5G. Our Honorable Prime Minister talked about being the leader in the world in taking 5G forward.
Sure.
And as well as starting to think about 6G as well. In all of this, the fiber optics that we manufacture play a very, very critical role. And what we're seeing in India is a convergence of 4 trends. Number one, we're today at 100 million 5G subscribers. That will go to about 600 to 700 million 5G subscribers in the next 5-6 years. Number two, being a massive push for fiber to the home and fiber to the enterprise. I think both of these will also require huge amounts of fiber. The third part is data centers. We're seeing huge announcements from massive data centers, both globally and from India. That will require fiber optics within the data center and to connect the data centers. And the last part is the government's push to connect rural India on fiber optics. Projects like BharatNet.
Right.
There's a phase 3 coming out to connect 3 to 4 lakh villages on optic fiber.
Right.
All of these, I think, very well set up for the fiber optic demand from our perspective, certainly for the next 5 to 6.
Sure. So, Sterlite aims to become the top 3. They want to enter the top 3 optical fiber makers in the world. So, which are those steps the company is taking to achieve that feat?
Absolutely. Good question. So I think the way we look at it is that this is really the time for an Indian company to step up and build that opportunity for being global. We've been looking at the market, definitely on the optic fiber cable. We've already made progress. We've made the investments to increase our capacity up to 42 million.
Right.
We've just invested in a US factory as well to cater to the US market. At the same time, we're also looking to scale up our optical interconnect solutions, which is also a $10 to $12 billion market. We've done one acquisition called Optotech in Italy.
So
we're looking at scaling up across Europe, US, pockets of India, as well as in Australia. So we certainly believe that we've made significant investments over the last 2 to 3 years. We've also looked at the talent. We're very, very proud to say that both homegrown talent as well as the best talent from around the world are part of STL.
Right.
And we believe a combination of the talent, the combination of investments and the markets we play in, I think we are very well set up.
Right. While optical fiber remains the core part of the business, there are other areas where STL is focusing on. Would you like to touch upon those areas where STL is now focusing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some history here. We earlier looked at Open RAN, looking at the wireless portfolio.
Right.
We also had a business in the OSS BSS. We decided to actually reduce our focus on those businesses, and we've let go of those businesses. From then, we have now 3 core businesses. The optical fiber business. We have a very important system integration services business, and we have an IT services business, which is STL Digital. 70-80% of our focus and priority is the optical, but certainly looking at very interesting projects like BharatNet, looking at defense, looking at the telecom sector. We're also doing system integration, and we have a new business which is in IT services, where we're looking to get a break even by Q4 this year.
Right. So the last 2 quarters were not that great for Sterlite. So what the company is doing for the other next quarters, where would you look at more profitability, better revenue, and if yes, then how you plan to achieve those targets in the next quarter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole intent has been that fundamentally the view is the markets are here, the demand is there. But we do believe that, especially in the US market, we have seen some slowdown in demand. That's because of some of the inventory build-up by the customers out there. We think that inventory will take somewhere between 6 to 9 months, and then the market should come back. And now, certainly with the US factory there and that scaling up, I think we're very, very well placed to capture the growth when the market comes back. The other parts are places like Europe and India. We're already focused on looking at our current customers and increasing our wallet share.
Sure.
The third part we're focused on is our internal perspective, is to really look at every element of costs and see how we can become more and more cost competitive.
Right.
So through this, as you can see, even in our numbers, while we had challenges on our top line, we were able to maintain our profitability, particularly in the optical business. So that's been a lot of focus on our efficiency.
Right. And how do you differentiate from your competition, not just in India, but at the global level?
I think the first part I would say is from the people. And within that, I mean that the agility of our teams, we're not looking at being the partner to everyone in the world. We're focused on few tier 1 customers, tier 2 customers, data center players,
Right.
where we really want to be their long-term partner. We pride on ourselves in our R&D, some of the products we've launched here today as well. But we really want to solve for their challenges, which can be around cost of deployment, speed of deployment, or ease of deployment. And this is something that's unique for us, where we customize our solutions for the customers, and we make sure that we are long-term partners with them.
And you mentioned data centers. A lot of data centers are coming up in India. A lot of bigger companies are now investing. So how big the opportunity is for Sterlite in the data center space?
So I think very interesting to see that the investment, network investment and the capex by the data center players is somewhere between $5 to $6 billion. So it's quite a large opportunity for STL as well. They themselves are looking at completely dedicated fiber networks, which are high capacity and low latency. So that plays very well for our focus. That's certainly something we can provide for them. We are seeing also interest from government institutions and defense institutions to also have their own dedicated data center for security reasons. And now also with the data protection kind of laws that are coming out, it'll be more and more critical for India to have its own data reside in the country. And that is a great opportunity for STL.
Right. Sterlite is very close to India's broadband story with fiber. Now, FWA is also commercially being introduced in India. So from here and now, in the next 12 to 15 months, how do you see the broadband story of India shaping up?
Absolutely. I think fixed wireless is one other technology, right? There's satellite as well. And of course, from our perspective, one thing very important to remember, the average user in India is looking at now more and more both download and upload speed. They're looking at quick response time. They want to look at applications like video games, AR, VR.
Right.
For all of these applications, we are very clear when we look globally. The primary application will be through fiber optics. Fixed wireless is a solution to solve for the last mile, but there are challenges around line of sight and other things that go with that.
Right.
Then will probably help you with the last 100, 200 meters. Sure. But even the fixed wireless points will need a backhaul on fiber optics. So we are quite bullish on the fiber demand.
Right, right. So that you're suggesting that fiberization will generate more demand for fiber in the country. Right.
It's here to stay.
Sure. Any last comment on the trends or the market that you are in?
No, absolutely. I think just looking at the India Mobile Congress as well and the feedback from customers, investors and others, I think we clearly see that from our customers, they're looking at more and more innovations.
Right.
One of the things that they're clearly seeing is while the demand is there for 5G,
sure,
they want to be able to deploy the networks in a faster way, in a more innovative way. We just launched the world's slimmest fiber.
Right.
We went from 250 micron to 160 micron with the R&D center in Aurangabad. And that will help much more capacity and will also help deploy this network in 15% less time.
Sure.
So this kind of innovation we have done.
Right. On that note, Ankit, let's conclude this. Thank you very much for doing this. Thank you.
My pleasure. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.